Hello, everyone, and welcome to our latest online event here at the University of California, Merced. My name is Ricky Hill, and I am the e-recruiter here at UC Merced. A huge welcome to you tonight. We are so excited that you could join us for the You've Been Admitted Spring 2023 celebration. We are so excited to be able to welcome you here and help you get celebrated tonight as a Spring 2023 admit. So as we get started here, we'd like to go ahead and do a quick overview of tonight's program. And so we just did our welcome. We can check that off the list. Next, we will be going over some next steps. We also have a giveaway tonight, so stay tuned for that. It's a little trivia pop quiz, so you'll want to stay close to your computer for that one so you can participate. We also have some student panelists with us tonight as well, and we have closing remarks. Before we go any further, let me give you a couple of quick tips. If you need to adjust your audio settings, you can do that in the lower left corner of your screen by clicking the audio settings button. If you'd like to adjust the size of your window, click on view options in the upper portion of your screen. Lastly, and most importantly, as I said, we do have student panelists on with us tonight, as well as being fully staffed behind the scenes with our pro staff who are ready to get to your questions tonight. So take full advantage of that Q&A button that you should see there. Send in those questions. We will get to those throughout the presentation, as well as during a live question and answer session at the end of this great celebration event tonight. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ricky Hill, and I'm the e-recruiter here. At this time, it is my great pleasure to hand things over to our Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, Dr. Charles Neese.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ricky. And I want to echo the congratulations that she shared to all of you. You have been admitted to the University of California, which is known internationally as the premier research university system in the world. And we know you have worked hard to be admitted. And so we want to take this moment just to congratulate you. And for all of the family, friends, and partners that may be listening during this time, we want to congratulate you as well. For we know that the work and everything that folks have done to get to this point hasn't been alone, and that you have been supporting them and cheering them along the way as they have accomplished their educational goals. We are so excited that you have been admitted and are looking at joining UC Merced. It's an exciting time to join our university. We just celebrated this week the birthday of our groundbreaking. It was only 20 years ago that they broke ground to start building the University of California campus. And as you know, we first opened our doors to admitted students in 2005. And in that short time that we've been around, we have already accomplished so much, being ranked recently as one of the top 50 public universities in the entire nation. And along with that comes all of the great programs and experiences and educational opportunities that are afforded to our scholars as they continue to move forward and accomplish their educational goals. At UC Merced, we have committed to supporting your success. And for us, student success involves providing you with the resources and tools so that you can successfully accomplish your academic, your career, and personal goals. And all of the things that you will hear about tonight during this webinar and the opportunity to learn more about our campus and to hear from the voices of our scholars that have also been part of this journey, you will learn more about those resources, those services, the academic experiences inside the classroom, as well as the great experiences that are afforded to you outside of the classroom, supporting you in undergraduate research, or even opportunities to study off campus, whether that's in Washington, D.C., in Sacramento, or over the ocean in another country, or the opportunity for you to get internships, to involve in community service, to engage in some of the great opportunities that a university environment can provide you. So whether you are an incoming first-year student or a transfer student, we want to make sure that you know that all of those opportunities exist for you. And we know that those opportunities help support your educational goals as you look forward to being successful at UC Merced. The most important thing, however, we want you to know is that we value you, we support you, and we know that you belong at UC Merced and that you will be part of the Bobcat family the moment you step on our campus. So we're super excited that you are looking at joining us, looking at being part of UC Merced and starting your educational journey with the Bobcats in January. So again, just to congratulate all of you, welcome you tonight, and hope that you learn a ton more about how the University of California supports your success. With that, I'll turn it back over to Ricky and move forward with the program. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Neese. A great pleasure to have you here to welcome everyone and help us all celebrate as well. All right, so we will move right along in our program here into the next steps for admitted students. We have a quick agenda here to touch on. So the first portion, we will talk about connect to connect. That will make a little more sense here in just a moment. The next part after that is what's next for admitted students. So now that you've been admitted, what do you do next? We will tell you. Stay tuned for that. The next piece would be financial aid, and we have an overview for you, as well as spring 23 housing. Without further ado, I would like to go ahead and hand things over to my colleague, Sheila. Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Ricky, and hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us tonight to celebrate your admissions to our campus for spring of 2023. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about how you can get connected to the campus. As an admitted student, the fastest way to connect to UC Merced is through your UC Merced Connect. UC Merced Connect is your primary connection to your student checklist, admissions information, financial aid, course registration, your UC Merced email. And what's also really cool is that your counselors can also download the app to see what the public view is. So if you are working with a counselor, they can also see what your UC Merced Connect looks like. If you're new to UC Merced, you'll need to claim your UC Merced Net ID before you can actually log in. So let's take a look at what the process looks like on the next slide. All right, the UC Merced Net ID consists of 2 steps. First, you'll need to make sure that you claim your account, which is actually going to be your UC Merced Net ID. In the second step, you'll need to provide the following information: your name, date of birth, and your application ID in order to claim your UC Merced Net ID. Once this has been claimed, you'll set up a password, which will then allow you to log in to your Connect portal. Now, once you've claimed your ID, you can log in. So let's see what the Connect homepage looks like for you on the next slide. All right, so the Connect homepage will look like this. As an admitted student, you will see that there is a section that has been dedicated for you. There are different icons that you can select, such as My Financial Aid, My Admissions, Admission Events, a checklist, housing, and My Course Updates. You can click on each of these icons to find more information for each of the departments, but most importantly, as an admitted student, the icon that you should be checking more often is your checklist. So let's go ahead to the next slide to see what this checklist looks like. All right, your checklist is individualized and unique to you only. You will have certain requirements that are listed here that are just for you. These requirements do need to be completed. So on this screenshot here, you'll see the requirement that is listed in your checklist, the status, if that requirement has been met or not, the office that is requesting for you to complete the requirement, the academic year in which the requirement is being requested for, and the deadline. So this checklist is really important because it includes all of the requirements that you need to meet in order to ensure that you can enroll at UC Merced for spring of 2023. You also want to make sure that you're checking this often to see that anything that you submit has been completed. Once it's complete, this X here and the red icon will no longer show. It should show a green check mark, meaning that you have completed that checklist item. It's also really important that you're checking this to make sure that we have received your official transcripts and any test scores that you have been asked to provide. So once again, this is a screenshot of what your checklist will look like. And once again, it is personalized and individualized for just you. So your checklist will look different from another student's checklist. All right, next slide. On this slide here, we're going to talk about the importance of keeping your contact information current. As you know, the way we connect with our students and ask for information is through email, as sometimes we call students through your telephone number, And we also send you letters through the mail. So you want to make sure that your mailing address, your telephone number, and your email address are up to date. It is always really hard when we're trying to reach out to students and we find that a phone number is no longer working or the email address, and that email has bounced back. Updating this information ensures that we can provide you with the most up-to-date information. So please be sure to update this information if it does change between now and when you enroll at UC Merced. All right, next slide. On this slide here, we're going to talk about the conditions of admissions. So although you've been admitted, your admission is provisional, meaning that you still have to uphold the conditions that have been set forth in order to ensure your admissions to UC Merced. Regardless if you are a first year or a transfer student, there are conditions of admissions that you need to meet. We will go ahead and drop the link to our Next Steps website so that you can click on the specific conditions of admissions, depending on whether you are a first year or a transfer student. Please note that failure to satisfy any of these conditions will result in UC Merced withdrawing the offer of admissions. Read through the conditions of admissions. There are specific things that you need to make sure that you are meeting to keep your admission to the campus. Some of these things are like passing your courses with a C grade or better, or maintaining a certain GPA. If you do, for any reason, receive a non-passing grade, or if you've changed your course schedule, please notify our office immediately by logging into your UC Merced Connect and selecting the My Course Updates. In the My Course Update section, you will have an opportunity to provide us with any information regarding your grades or your schedule if it's changed. All right, next slide. On this slide here, we are going to talk about the Statement of Legal Residence. The UC determines residency for students based on information that is provided through the Statement of Legal Residence. The Statement of Legal Residence is an online questionnaire that asks students a series of questions to determine if they will pay in-state or out-of-state tuition and fees. Please note that for the Statement of Legal Residency, it only applies to you if it is on your student checklist in your Connect portal. Meaning if you don't see this requirement on your Connect portal, it does not apply to you. If it's on there, it does apply to you, and you will need to make sure that you submit your SLR and responses to those questionnaires by the November 20th deadline. This is really important as this questionnaire is used to determine whether you will pay in-state or out-of-state tuition. And as listed on our slide here, it is a $15,000 difference in tuition. So if this is part of your checklist, please ensure to complete it as soon as possible. Another note is that you can actually complete your Statement of Legal Residency before you submit your SIR. All right, next slide. I know this might seem like a lot of steps, right? There's a lot of things you need to check off on this list. What's really cool is that here at UC Merced, we've created an admitted students next steps website, which has all of these steps broken down for you with links and PDFs and important dates and deadlines. Our admitted student next steps do have the information as well as the dates and deadlines. So we're going to put that link down in the chat for you so that you can access the website. But if you're not sure how to proceed now that you've been admitted, definitely check out our admitted students next steps website and follow these steps as outlined on our website. All right, next slide. Another important thing to take note of as you start creating your UC Merced Net ID and log into your Connect portal is that here at UC Merced, we do require dual mobile two-factor authentication. Basically, what this is to ensure that your account is secured and you are the only one who can access your UC Merced account. So even if someone gets your password, dual ensures that there is a secondary measure to confirm your identity so that no one other than you can log in to your UC Merced accounts. Before you get started with Duo Mobile, you'll need to make sure that you're logged in to a computer. You have your UC Merced ID and password and a smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone, there are other options for how to start the Duo Mobile sign-in options. And then last but not least, you'll want to make sure that you have access to your phone's app store. You will need to download the Duo Mobile app if you are planning to use your smartphone. All right. So now that we've kind of talked a little bit about, the next steps, Duo Mobile, and the SLR, let's talk a little bit about financial aid. So if you've been admitted to the campus, you will be receiving your financial aid award letter. The award letter is broken down and tells you how much aid you are going to get for the academic year. When you are awarded your financial aid, it's really important that you do take a look at this award letter and then also log into your Connect portal, because you want to make sure that you are checking that little icon right there that says My Financial Aid. Along with your Connect on My Financial Aid and your award letter, you'll be able to see how much aid you are given and how much you might want to accept. So it's two parts, right? You'll get your financial aid award letter, and then you'll have to log into your checklist and your Connect to select which financial aid awards you would like to receive for that academic year. All right, next slide. So I know there's a lot to understand about financial aid. We do have a direct cost video and website and worksheet that you can utilize to assist you with understanding what the direct cost at UC Merced is going to be and how much you might need to pay out of pocket after you've received your financial aid award. So we'll go ahead and put the link for the direct cost on the chat here, but really, please check out our website to understand what the direct cost might be for you when you attend UC Merced. All right, next slide. Here's a breakdown of the current academic year's cost of attendance. So on here, you'll see a breakdown of how much it might cost to live on campus, off campus, and then at home with relatives. There is a difference between each of these costs. Tuition and fees for the campus are the same across, regardless of which, regardless if you want to live on campus, off campus, or with relatives. There's also room and board fees depending on, the type of residential hall and plan you select, or if you're living off campus or at home with relatives. Books and supplies are all listed here, as well as transportation and personal expenses and health insurance. Please note that these costs here, some of them are just estimates. For example, personal expenses is how much you are spending on yourself. So it might be different from what's shown here. If you have health insurance that is equivalent to what the UC offers for students, you can potentially waive the health insurance fee. So these are the cost of attendance, but some of these items here could just be an estimate and it will vary by student. So you definitely want to make sure that you're checking your financial aid award letter before worrying about the actual cost of attendance. All right, next slide. And this slide here, for those of you who are interested in living on campus in a residential hall, we have provided the housing and meal plan breakdown. Once again, this will vary. So if you are interested in living on campus and you want to select the residential hall or the type of room that you'll have and the number of roommates, we'll provide our housing website on the chat so that you can take a look at possible options that are available to you if you are living on campus. All right, let's go on to the next slide. So here's how to apply for housing. The first step you want to do is submit your SIR. So you can't actually apply for housing until you submit that statement of intent to register, which is really you saying, yes, I want to come to your campus. And the deadline for the statement of intent to register is November 15th. After you submit your SIR, you have to wait 24 hours before you can actually start and submit your housing application. So after the 24 hours, you now are on step 3. If you're ready to apply for housing, you'll visit the housing website at housing.ucmerced.edu to submit your housing preference form and application. Please note that after you submit your preference form and application, you also need to sign your housing contract. The deadline for both submitting your housing preference form and application, as well as your housing contract, is January 2nd, 2023 at 11:59 Pacific time. All right, now let's learn a little bit about spring orientation. So online pre-orientation is available to students for spring of 2023. The date for online pre-orientation is available January 6th, 2023. Basically, what that means is the registration is available and you can start registering for orientation. You will want to make sure that you are checking your UC Merced email that day for the link to register for orientation. In-person orientation actually takes place on January 13th. During orientation, you'll have an opportunity to learn about helpful campus resources. Both students and guests' experiences will be delivered on each orientation date, and we will also have Spanish and dual language parent and guest sessions available. I know for myself, when I first attended college, orientation was definitely really helpful, and I was able to meet other students and make friends. So definitely make sure that you register for orientation and attend orientation. All right, next slide. Many of you might be wondering when you can register for courses and how that's all going to work. So here are the dates for course registration. Between December 7th and December 8th, you'll get course recommendations from your academic advisor. This will be sent via email to your UC Merced email. December 12th is when registration opens. So this is when you can register for your spring courses. Once again, you want to make sure that you are checking your UC Merced email, because this is where you will receive the list of courses from your academic advisor about what to register for in the spring. And so if you are ready to register for courses, you'll want to make sure that you log into your Connect portal and use your My Registration in UC Merced Connect to register for courses for the spring. All right, next slide. Okay, last but not least, we're going to talk about the writing, math, chemistry, and computer science and engineering placement exams. These exams are used to determine your level of readiness for writing, math, chemistry, and computer science courses. It'll also place you in the courses where you will be most successful. So we have a breakdown of who will need to take these courses. For writing readiness review, this applies to first-year students. If you are a first-year student, you will be required to take the writing readiness requirement. For math, chemistry, computer science, and engineering, all incoming first-year students, regardless of major, must complete the placement exams. If you do need to take a placement exam, you will receive an email from your academic advisor letting you know that you will need to take a placement exam. All right, that concludes the next steps information. Now I'm going to pass the mic over to Ricky to talk a little bit more about how you can participate in our giveaway.
Thank you so much, Sheila. Yes, now is the time. I haven't switched the slide yet on purpose because I want to give you a little bit of a teaser. We are about to go into our pop quiz, our trivia time. So in just a second, I'm going to show you a trivia question. The rules of the game are pretty simple. Make sure that you look at the question, you read it through, you think of your answer, and then drop that into the chat box. And the first correct answer, first 3 correct answers, so it's not fastest, but you have to be the quickest and have a correct answer. The top 3 will win a t-shirt each. And then we will soon we will give you a link that you can send us your contact information so we can get where to send everything and also your shirt size. All right, if you guys are ready, a drum roll, please. You can do that for yourself. And here is your question. When is the SIR deadline for spring 2023 students? We're so excited that you guys are excited and celebrating tonight with your engagement, getting those answers turned in. All right, it looks like we may have our 3 winners. Thank you all so much for joining and having some fun with us here. And in case you weren't sure of the answer, there we go. It is November 15th. So thank you all so much for playing along with us tonight. And at this time, we will go ahead and move along in our presentation. I'd like to introduce our student panel and introduce them, have them come on the screen with us. We have David and Adeline. And David, go ahead and do an introduction for us.
All right, thank you, Ricky. Hi, everyone. My name is David Gutierrez, pronouns he, him, his. I'm originally from Nashville City, which is in another area of San Diego. I'm a 5th year. I'm about to graduate this semester, and it's a big congratulations to you all for the year admission, but I'll go ahead and pass it over to Adeline.
Hi everyone, my name is Adeline. I also go by Addie. I am actually a 5th year psychology and chemistry major here at UC Merced. I am originally from Livermore, California, somewhere out in the Bay Area, and I'm really happy to have you guys all here and answer any questions that you guys have for us.
Fantastic. Thank you both so much for joining us and for hopping on screen to join me here as well. At this time, we're going to start answering some of the questions that are coming in from our audience tonight. So once again, if you have questions and you haven't yet sent those in, now is a good time to do that. And you can do so by just clicking on the Q&A button, submitting that question, and we will get to those right now. So I want to sign up to come to the spring 2023 Admit Days, but they're having trouble with the website. Is there an alternate way for them to sign up?
Hi, Ricky. So if there's a question about signing up for the Admitted Student Days, they can email us and go ahead and send that email to transfer@ucmerced.edu. And then we will respond to those students and help them get registered for the event.
Very good. Thank you so much, Dustin. All right, let's see the next question coming in. If I'm a transfer student for spring of 2023 semester, which placement exams do I take?
Great question. Yes. So if you are a transfer student for the spring of 2023, you will receive an email from your academic advisor regarding any placement exams that you might need to take. And we'll drop a link in the chat in just a second here so that everyone can reference the placement exams for UC Merced.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sheila. All right. So before we go too much further into the questions, I'd like to give both of our student panelists a chance to share your experience and why you chose UC Merced. So David, I'll ask you that question first. Can you share your story?
Yeah, that's a great question and a good way for us to start off. So I am actually a spring admin as well. Spring 2018 is when I started. So I had the same experience y'all are having with getting information. We have different types of deadlines than other students, but having the opportunity to come to a big university, especially a research one, I think that's where my hope was for, especially to just engage in a different realm. So being originally from San Diego and coming here to Merced, I wanted to have a completely different experience than the city life, which is why I chose, and I've enjoyed these past 5 years. I could go ahead and pass that to Ellen too.
For me, I chose to come to UC Merced because I always wanted to be part of the UC system. And then when I got admitted to UC Merced, I enjoyed the community and the size of UC Merced. It wasn't too large, and I knew teachers and people would be connected to me versus just being another number, another face at any other university. So I also come from the Bay Area, so coming out here, kind of having that little more peaceful rural area to kind of have that scenery, it was great, and it's a great change for me, and I really have enjoyed being at UC Merced.
Fantastic. Thank you both so much for that. And how was the transition from community college or high school coming to UC Merced? Can you both touch on that, please?
I'm a transfer student, so I came from a community college. For me, it was kind of a big change since my community college was a lot smaller, classes were a lot different. Here, there's a lot more people, there's a lot more interaction, there's definitely a lot more going on, such as events that student clubs and organizations put on, as well as the school just puts on to bring that community. The transition overall after my first semester was pretty easy, since I was used to what the structure of a semester was like, but definitely it was a little bit of a transition getting used to the amount of people as well as just how much interaction you'll get, which is great, being someone who really likes to be social and doing other things other than studying and always being in class.
And David, how about you? What was your experience like with that transition?
Yeah, so mine's actually the flip. So I came directly from high school. It was I did have to wait a semester since I was the spring up. So it felt as though I was missing out. I felt as though I felt a step behind in my personal experience. But as soon as I got in, I felt definitely very welcomed by professors, teaching assistants, TAs, and all the other professional organizations and departments that we have on campus, because all the resources that are provided, they benefited me. They helped me in my journey these past couple of years. And even though it may have seemed scary at first, being in the dorm life, engaging with students as well is what got me out of my shell. And from then I just was able to kick off.
Perfect answers. Thank you both so much for that. Let's shift back over to the UC Merced experience and all of the different clubs and organizations that we have here. Can both of you touch on what types of clubs and orgs that you've been a part of and how it was, what was the process to get involved in those?
So for me, I participated a lot in professional organizations. So I started with the campus activities board, where we host Calcella Treats and Beats, which is our semester-based concerts, Calcella with a parody of Coachella, and being able to engage in event planning. There's other organizations too. There's social organizations, there's cultural organizations, there's Hermanos Unidos, there's MSA, Muslim Student Association, and there's even Greek Life as well. I've been able to partake in Greek Life as a professional business fraternity. And it's definitely a very different experience than high school. We're putting on our own events where we don't really have to have a certain guideline, but still abiding by who we are as organizations. And ultimately, it's what you want as well.
For me, I've actually also been fortunate enough to be part of the Greek life organizations here at UC Merced. I took more of the social aspect, so I was part of Phi Mu. I am now an alum from that organization, but we got to kind of just grow this sort of community within this family of like girls and just kind of have each other's back and just have that sort of support system home away from home. I've also part of the organization UROC. I actually, for undergraduate research opportunities, I am a UC Lead Scholar. So I've been fortunate enough to do research over the summer, present my research. Currently am still doing research during the academic year, and then I will get to travel to a different UC to continue my research over the summer and present it once again. So those are some of the organizations that we do have. We do offer a lot, like David said, professional organizations. We also have a lot of clubs, which can range from computer science, engineering to psychology, to all sorts of other different interests that students have here at UC Merced.
Wonderful experiences. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, so let's move into the faculty. Can you tell us a little bit about how approachable are the faculty members at UC Merced? What has your experience been?
When it comes to the different realms in instruction, so there's like the big lectures, there's about 230 students per lecture for like chemistry 1 or even math as well. That dynamic between professors is a little bit more difficult, but you have your TAs, which they're definitely ready and they're ready there to help you with anything. They have their own office hours, and they even approach you during class asking if you're getting the problems right, if you're having any trouble. It's not only us reaching out to them, but they also reach out to us, which I definitely appreciate from TAs and professors in smaller classes. Definitely very open as well. Always open to help instruct a little bit more if you're not getting it. We all have different learning styles and they adjust to help you out, at least my experience.
Since I am in more upper division courses, my classes are a lot smaller, and I do have that more one-on-one interaction with my professors. They definitely know our names from all the students in our class. and they definitely are willing to go over any extra material, whether it be off topic, just so you can get that understanding that you need. And their office hours are always open. And they're open to arranging any sort of office hours that help you and work with your specific hours, as well as the TAs. TAs have always been there for me and been really helpful when it comes to either I don't feel I can make my professor's office hours, I can make their office hours, or just shoot them a quick email about something I'm not understanding. And they are more than willing to help me figure out my problem or my issue that I'm having.
Very good. So let's go back a little bit when we talked about transitioning to UC Merced. Now let's talk about what was your experience like when you were transitioning from your hometowns, be them large or small, to the city of Merced when you moved here. What was that like? Was there a big change for you?
So for me, I come from Livermore, California, out in the Bay Area. It's actually not much bigger than Merced, so the city wasn't too big of a difference for me to transition. It was my first time moving away from home, so that was a lot for me. I sometimes do get a little homesick still, even though I've been here for a little while, but the transition wasn't bad. I do enjoy that there are things here to do. And there's just a lot of stuff, like even downtown Merced holds some events. Like recently, this past, I think past weekend, they held a like spooky festival downtown where there was a bunch of small businesses doing little giveaways or like just open late at night to do trick-or-treating, things like that. It's just a lot of fun. There are things to do, a lot of good food, and definitely the transition is it's more of like that smaller city, but you still have things to do and it's well-rounded.
For my side, coming from San Diego, of course, a big city, it's a very different dynamic, especially the weather. It's kind of coast. It stays similar to like 60 to 70. As soon as I got over here in the winter time, it was about 50, 40 degrees sometimes at night. So definitely a very different atmosphere itself, and adjusting to different traffic as what I wasn't expecting. It's a lot more lenient here. Even the back roads, not that many cars take them, so it's a kind of just easier access. And like Adeline said, there's a lot of things to do here at Merced, more than expected. There's a nickel arcade. There's a Dave & Buster's that's going to be opening up, I believe, in Modesto, and a few other things to do in the local cities around. So I definitely didn't feel limited. Just make sure that whether you're having a car or make a friend that has a car to take those little trips, because honestly, there's a lot of hidden gems here in the San Joaquin Valley.
Perfect. And actually, keeping on that same token there, have either of you taken advantage of the location of UC Merced? We are in the heart of California, anywhere from an hour to 2 hours away from many, many, many different landmarks in the state of California. So have either of you found little places that you like to go to, be it the mountains or the ocean? What are some of your favorite spots to travel to?
So for me, I love going to the beach, and my favorite beach is actually near Monterey. So it really isn't that far, Merced from Monterey. So it's not that hard to do a day trip down there and then just drive back up for the weekend or even just spend the weekend out there. I also love going back to the Bay Area, about an hour and a half. Love visiting San Francisco. It's definitely a place that I find very comforting, just fun for a day trip and just all these other things. But I unfortunately have not been able to visit Yosemite yet, so that's definitely on my bucket list. So I definitely need to visit while the fall colors are still out. But yeah, it is pretty local, central to a lot of things out here, and it definitely doesn't hinder your location here in Merced doesn't hinder you being able to do things.
I definitely recommend checking out Yosemite during the fall time. It's so pretty. I've gone to Yosemite. I've gone to Knight's Ferry, which is a local hiking trail. There's a few different routes as well. It's not too far. And coming to the Bay Area, I'm actually in the Bay Area right now. I'm not in Merced. I'm visiting my partner, and just being able to have this locality of, checking out different locations, not even within Merced or San Joaquin. The Bay Area is so close. Sacramento is also very close. I have a lot of good sites to see. It's definitely a good experience just to have a small travel. It doesn't cost too much.
You guys are making me want to plan a weekend getaway in a couple days. Some of those places that you mentioned, I'm also familiar with. Yosemite, I haven't made it there yet, even though I'm from the Central Valley. It's kind of a crazy thing, but there are tons of historic buildings around all of these Central Valley towns too. So if you are interested in those types of things, every one of these towns that were mentioned and locations, our capital, of course, everything has really historic downtown type areas too. So you can have lots of fun and really just get lost on a weekend and explore here. All right, so the next question, can you guys talk about how you balance your social, your work, your education, your studies? How do you balance everything in life being a student at UC Merced?
I think for both of us as fifth years, I think the first semester is that adjusting period of, the different course loads that we have to take, whether that's STEM or Shaw. Outlook definitely helps. Outlook calendar, having a calendar on the side, making sure that you have commuting time if you have to commute 10-20 minutes to get to campus, walking up, just making sure you're adjusting your own time. It's a lot of time management. Having stuff to fill in the gaps of classes, I think that's the fun part. You get to meet up with your friends, go out for boba, have a little pizza chat at the pavilion. Being able to have that social aspect too is definitely needed. So make sure you are able to fit in those different aspects of your life.
For me, it's definitely very similar. It's very time management wise. For me, I actually push all my classes together as close as I can get them. So I have those free days where I can just kind of either relax and do my own thing or just dedicate it to studying or just go out with friends or just figure things out, plan for the rest of the week, whether it's pick up a few hours here or there or some research in the lab, whatever it is. But time management and using a planner, Google Calendar, anything like that is so beneficial because it definitely keeps you on top of your stuff as well as sends you reminders when you totally forget something and then you realize, oh, actually, I have to do this. I need to do this. So yeah, definitely time management and finding some sort of planning device that works for you is definitely the way to go.
Fantastic advice as always. All right, the next question that's coming in here. What are some good resources on campus that have been essential to your academic success?
So for me, a resource that's been like very, very beneficial for me is I'm a student with disabilities. So the SAS Center has been very beneficial for me since I was able to transfer over my 504 plan that I had from high school and my community college, and they've helped me get accommodations with classes, and my teachers have all abided by those accommodations, which has definitely helped with my success in whether it be taking an exam, taking a quiz, anything like that. Also for me, when I first got here, I did struggle a lot with food insecurity, but I did find the Bobcat Pantry as well as the Basic Needs Center. For the Bobcat Pantry, they give you out a weekly bag of food where you can go like grocery shopping in their little pantry and just get the food you need for that week. And then they also do let you know of USDA food distributions, which happen about the third Friday of every month. But there you can get a ton of different food that will last you for like a month or even more of just like dry goods, dairy products, things like that. But those are two resources that I've utilized that have definitely helped me and been extremely beneficial for me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that personal insight. Well, we are getting closer to wrapping up this Q&A portion. We have a few more slides that we'd like to share with our audience tonight, but I would like to give a big thank you to both of our student panelists. And before I let you go, not quite yet, I'd like to offer both of you just one more chance to give any last minute words of advice, maybe just touch on something that we haven't yet talked about that you feel would be helpful to our audience tonight. David, would you like to go first?
Sure. Definitely, since y'all are coming for this for the spring, bring sweaters, It definitely gets very cold the first couple of weeks that you're here. But more of like a personal insight, you're entering a new chapter in your life. So try different things, make sure you look out for resources, ask questions. You're your own pioneer in your journey, and just make sure that you're reaching out. Networking is very big when you get to college, especially at a university like this. So for first years or transfers, just find that connection, whether that's a professor or some peers, and have a good time. Don't overthink it.
To add to that, definitely networking is very important. It will get you those letter of recommendations you need. It will get you those opportunities into research if you want, whatever you need, just network, whether, like David said, with peers, TAs, faculty, but also keep an open mind. Always definitely keep an open mind, and definitely just look at all the positives. You are definitely coming to a University of California, whether it may not be the one that you has that big name that you probably wanted originally. It's by far just as good and even better in some ways. And I definitely love it here, and definitely know that you will definitely enjoy it if you keep that open mind.
What a fantastic way to end this segment of our presentation. A huge thank you once again to both David and Adeline. We wouldn't be here without fantastic students like yourselves. And of course, everyone that's on this event with us. This could be you. You could join the Bobcat family. You could submit your statement of intent to register. You could be one of these fantastic faces that you see in front of you welcoming the next class. So the faces that you see here, these are the real deal. These are real Bobcats right now at UC Merced. So thank you both again so much for joining us tonight. And at this time, as I said, thank you to our panelists. I would like to go ahead and move on to the next portion of our event this evening. And that includes some closing remarks from our Director of Admissions, Dustin Noji. Welcome, Dustin.
Thank you, Ricky, and thank you to all of our panelists and guests and staff who are a part of today's event. I just want to take a moment to congratulate you again as Director of Admissions on your admission to UC Merced. Being admitted to UC Merced, as Charles mentioned earlier, means you've been admitted to one of the top universities, not just in California, but also in the United States. And also we've been recognized worldwide as one of the most innovative institutions and one of the fastest rising institutions in the entire world. So that's pretty phenomenal in just 18 years or 20 years that we've been open now. So as a transfer student, something that you should know, and for spring transfer students, as well as for our incoming first year students, you've been admitted based upon the merits of your application, which means that the work that you put in to get to this point shows us that you have the extraordinary potential to do amazing things at our campus. And one of the things as Director of Admissions to make sure that you are aware of is that your admissions, while we're super excited for you, is conditional based upon you passing the coursework that you entered in your UC application. So it's really important that as you complete this fall semester and your current coursework, that if anything should come up in the terms of you dropping classes, if you're not able to pass certain courses or whatnot, please make sure to notify us immediately. You can notify our office by going into your portal and following the instructions there about how to notify us about dropping classes or any courses that you think you may not be passing. And the sooner you notify us, the better. And then we can reach out to you and provide you with different suggestions and options about how you may be able to take care of those courses or maybe consider applying for a future term. So I want to make sure to put that out there for you, just so there are no surprises. But again, first and foremost, I want to congratulate you on all of your hard work to get to this point. Being admitted to a University of California is exceptional. And it means that you're some of the exceptional students who in California, in the world, and we can't wait for you to become Bobcats. One thing that's really important though, and we always like to say to folks, is it's really, really, really advantageous to you to actually come and visit our campus. And so if you can, come out for those spring 2023 admitted student days, bring your friends, your family, explore our campus, and make sure this is the right fit for you. You can't understand the kind of community that you'll be joined until you actually step foot on campus. And we always like to say here at UC Merced that people will welcome you with open arms. We are a small and friendly community, and we think you'll feel that once you're here. So take advantage of those opportunities to come and visit our campus, take advantage of some free food, and we hope to see you on campus here soon. And then we're going to go to the next slide because there's one important date that we want to remind you of, and that is your statement of intent to register. It's really important that you submit that statement of intent to register by November the 15th so that you can join our Bobcat family for the spring semester. That also allows you to submit your housing application and the other information that needs to be submitted in order for you to successfully enroll at UC Merced. So again, on behalf of the University of California, again, I congratulate you on your hard work to this point, and we hope you join our family as Bobcats for the spring. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I'll hand it off to Ricky to close out the program.
Thank you so much, Dustin. Once again, great words of celebration for the new Bobcats that have recently been admitted to the spring of 2023 semester. If you haven't got that yet, we are so excited that you're here with us now, and hopefully in the future, we will be seeing you on campus. So let's move on. We've got one more little bit of info to share with you. Our contact information. This quite possibly could be some of the most important information that you take away tonight. So go ahead and grab your smartphone. You can scan that QR code. You can take a screenshot of all of this information. Of course, we would love for you to follow us on all of our social media channels, or at least a couple of those. TikTok is the newest that we have added to our social media family. We are dropping videos of campus and student life. We have an event coming up in just a couple of days that you'll get some exclusive footage on from that and our TikTok and our Instagram channels. So please make sure you're following us there. And like I said, there is also that QR code. So you can go ahead and scan that and get more information in setting a meeting with someone here on campus. So before we go, I do want to let you know that November 3rd and 4th, we have what we're calling the Spring 2023 Admitted Student Days. You've heard a little bit about that already, but I just want to give that quick reminder. We can drop into the chat box. We can give you the link to the website so you can get yourself registered, save your spot for those days. And some of the things that you'll actually get to experience while you're here, because that's an in-person event, you will get access to a campus tour. You will get to meet current Bobcats, current UC Merced students like you did just a moment ago, but you'll be in person, so you'll get to see them there. And you will also have the great opportunity to share a meal on campus here. So you and your guests will be dining in our dining pavilion. So what better way to get a full experience of UC Merced than by actually coming here during these special days that we have set up special for you. So once again, in the chat box, click on the link. You'll be able to get yourself registered for that. And the other thing I'd like to mention, we did talk about campus tours in a couple of different ways here. If for some reason you're not available during those special days, feel free to schedule a campus tour any other time that's convenient for you. And when I say any other time, I truly mean that, because we have extended days and hours. So now we offer campus tours 7 days a week. So hopefully you can find a time that will work for you when you can come and check out the beautiful campus that we all call home here in Merced. And like Dustin had said, and the students had shared and our presenters earlier in the evening, that we have such a campus that is filled with a family feel. We're very student-centered. We just have a very close-knit feeling. And you're seeing us now online. I guarantee that you'll see all of us at some time or another walking around on campus, and you'll already know people that are there on your very first day. So we definitely hope that we can meet you in the near future. And we're so happy that you were able to join us this evening. Once again, take a quick screenshot of what you see there on your screen. We hope that you're celebrating your new admitted status here. This is not just a celebration for you, but it's for us, but it's also for all of the loved ones and your family and your friends who have supported you up until this point to get you here. So please enjoy this feeling, and we hope to see you very soon. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you at a future event. Have a good night, everyone.